Okay. 9.6,
9.6.
a minute.
Oh, this was the one approving council subcommittee consisting of Mayor Batchelor and Vice Mayor Fuller to serve as observers during the police chief interviews. I was wondering when it was decided that the mayor and the vice mayor would be the observers, and if it wouldn't be possible for, I would assume that because the city manager can't directly hire either the police chief or the fire chief, that it was supposed to come before the city council, that it would be much better for the entire council to be aware of who is being interviewed and their qualifications, and to actually sit in on the interviews.
Well, in the past, when we went through this process with Chief Mort, I believe the mayor and one other council member sat in on that. I know when the fire chief, Mr. Rodriguez, was hired, there were two people from council. The city manager and I discussed the process. I felt it important that the mayor be involved with that.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you.
And given that and the experience of the vice mayor in law enforcement, I thought that would be appropriate as well. So
Are these excuse me, Jake, are these interviews going to be conducted in closed session?
I'll let the city manager go through the process. She can explain it better than I probably
Well,
will.
just, excuse me, Mayor and Council, just to clarify the interview process, we actually will have 3 panels, a community panel that has already been selected, a peer panel consisting of police chiefs and city manager, and we'll also have a technical panel, or, excuse me, employee panel. All of these are confidential interviews. Okay, it's not open to the public, and the hire actually is my hire, the city manager's hire. The way the code reads is it's only a ratification by the city council for the hire. So how I would handle that is in closed session, I would schedule a closed session listing the position of appointment of police chief, and I would discuss my recommendation to the 5 of you, and you would decide yes or no, or whatever, and then we would schedule it for open session, we would vote on an open session. But that's how it would be handled. And 2 members of the council is what the past practice has been here to do observations, and so that's why we have 2 members of council that are being suggested tonight that the whole council would vote on. It's just no different than a council committee. So, and the interviews are next month.
The way I'm looking at this is almost amounts to a closed session, to where these are interviews that aren't open to the public. Therefore, the entire council could participate and see these things in the form of a personnel item, just as observers. And I don't see what the problem is. Maybe I'd like to get some clarification from Michael Dean whether this is possible or not.
It's not theirs.
If the council were the body that was doing the hiring, then I think that would be an accurate statement. That is, that you would have, or you could have, a closed session in which the council was determining whether or not to appoint whoever it was. That, in fact, as an example, is the process that the council followed for both the city manager and myself. On the other hand, the process that the city manager is proposing to undertake is she hiring somebody. So it's it's kind of like a presidential appointment with advice and consent from the Senate. It is an appointment by the city manager with advice and consent from the council. If the manager wished to do so, the manager could hold her interviews in closed session with the full council, assuming the council noticed it as a meeting and then called it as a closed session. But she's not required to have any council members present. My own recollection, and department heads who've been here longer than I might want to correct me, but my own recollection is that it had been the case that the city manager interviewed department heads individually and then made a recommendation, and I believe with the last police chief, that was the first time that the former city manager invited council members to attend.
Yeah, and I think.
That's my recollection, anyway.
Well, a part of the hiring process that the city manager just explained, it's called the assessment center process. It's a series of tasks, if you will, that all of the candidates go through. And each panel rates those people individually. Then there is a group session at the end in which all of the panel members that sat in the various areas come together, they observe, they make comments, and then the candidates go away. And the people who sat in on those various interviews portions submit their recommendations. The city manager, as in the case with the police chief, and other senior managers for that matter, will then review that, do background checks, and then come forward to council in closed session because it is a personnel issue, and make a recommendation. At that point in time, council can certainly discuss the issues, the merits, demerits of the candidates, why that candidate was chosen over another candidate, and we go forward in open session with the ratification of or go back to the drawing board if council doesn't agree on it. So that's the open portion of it.
I understand the procedure that's been done in the past, and the only problem that I have with it is I get the information secondhand if I'm not involved in the interview process. We have to rely on the interpretations of either the mayor or the vice mayor or the department heads. The department heads are a completely different thing. The city manager can hire and fire those. I was always told that the code does not allow the city manager to hire or fire either the police chief or the fire chief.